Welcome our students to our English tutorials for grade 7 third report. Now we are going to start with the reading comprehension. We have 3 passages. We are going to read them, then we are going to answer some questions about each passage. Passage number 1. The Aztecs of Mexico knew about chocolate a long time ago. They made it into a drink. Sometimes they put hot chili peppers with the chocolate. They called the drink exotel, which means bitter juice. This is where the word chocolate comes from. The Spanish went to Mexico and took the drink from the land of the Aztecs back to Spain. The Spanish didn't like peppers, so they added sugar. They also liked to drink chocolate hot, and hot chocolate was born. This drink became very popular in Europe. People added different things like eggs to the chocolate drink, but everybody's favorite was chocolate in milk instead of water. There was still no hard chocolate until around 1850. Then the British made the first chocolate bar. 25 years later, 2 men in Switzerland mixed milk with the hard chocolate. Milk chocolate soon became a favorite all over the world. Is chocolate good for you? For years, people thought that chocolate was good for health. Doctors told people to have a chocolate drink for headaches and many other problems. Today, there is good news for chocolate lovers. Scientists think that a little bit of chocolate is good for you. It gives you energy and has vitamins to keep your body healthy. The Aztecs believed that chocolate made you intelligent. Today, we don't believe this, but chocolate has a special chemical which is the same chemical the body makes when a person is in love. Which do you prefer, eating chocolate or being in love? Now let's move to the questions. Question number 1. What do scientists think about chocolate today? The answer is it gives you energy and has vitamins to keep your body healthy. Question number 2. The Aztec liked to drink chocolate. Drink what? Yes, bitter chocolate. Number 3. The first hard chocolate was a British chocolate bar. Number 4. Spanish created hot chocolate which became all over the world. Became what? Yes, became popular all over the world. Now, we are going to move to the second passage. We are going to read this passage, then we have 4 questions, we are going to answer them. Christopher Columbus was born in Genoa, Italy in 1451. His career in exploration started when he was very young. As a teenager, he traveled over the seas and finally made Portugal his base. On August 3, 1492, after 10 years of hard efforts but fruitless results, Columbus and 3 ships, the Nina, Benta, and Santa Maria, left Bowles, Spain, and headed westward after stopping in the Canary Islands off the coast of Africa. Columbus' ships hit the open seas. Covering about 150 miles a day, the trip was long and hard. The crew was afraid of sea monsters and grew more restless every day land was not sighted. On October 12, 1492, crew member aboard of Benta's ship sighted one of the Bahama Islands near the coast of North America. Then Columbus moved forward and set foot on what he believed was one of the Spice Islands, a group of islands in Asia, now known as Indonesia. where valuable spices and riches came from. He named the land San Salvador. Columbus returned to Spain as a hero. He soon returned to the New World but never found the riches he expected. Christopher Columbus made one of the greatest discoveries in the history of the world, North America. However, he probably was not the first explorer to see the continent, and he believed until his death that the islands he explored were in the Asian continent. Today, we celebrate Columbus Day in October to recall his discoveries. Question number 1. How many miles did the ships travel every day? The answer is about 150 miles. Number 2. On October 12, 1492, where did Columbus set his foot? The answer? Yes, North America. Question number 3. There was or were ship or ships set off with Columbus in his trip. How many ships? 1, 2, 3 or 4? As we have read, yes, 3 ships. Number 4. Today we celebrate Columbus Day in January, October, November or December. Yes, it is October. Now we are going to move to the third paragraph. Will people still read books 100 years in the future from now? Few years ago, many people would have said no. It seemed likely that computers and the internet would replace books. Now, however, most experts think that books are here to stay. There are a number of reasons why computers won't replace books entirely. One reason is that books on paper are much cheaper than computers. Books don't need a power source either. You can read a book for as long as you want and wherever you want. You never have to worry about losing power. Also, many people feel more comfortable reading words in a book than reading on a computer screen. It's less tiring to the eyes. Will books in the future be similar to the books you can buy today? The answer to that question is no. In the future, you may only need to buy one book. With this one book, you will be able to read novels, plays, and even today's newspaper. It will look like today's book, but it will be electronic. Future book will have a small button on the side. When you press the button, words will instantly appear on the page. When you read a different story, you can push the button again and a new story will quickly appear. What is the technology behind future book? Two important inventions will make this new kind of book: electronic ink and radio paper. So, let's wait and see what will the future book be like. Question number 1. What can we read with an electronic book in the future? You will be able to read novels, plays, and even today's newspaper. Number 2, it seemed likely that the internet would replace books. The answer is yes, computers. Number 3, most experts think that books are here to, yes, to stay. 4, future book will look like today's book, but it will be what? It will be electronic. Now we are going to move to the second part of this tutorials. It's about grammar and vocabulary. Question number 1. I couldn't go swimming as it was cold outside. Now if you look at the space, after space we have adjective cold. Before the space we have the verb was, and it is affirmative, not negative. So that we can't say enough. So because as we have studied, we use enough with negative sentences. Now if you look at A, B, C, 2, 2, 2, we have 3 words with the same pronunciation, but the spelling is different. So that we have to differentiate between these 3 words. The correct answer is 2. T-double-O, not T-O, not T-W-O. Number 2. My friend likes camping on the weekend, but I stay at home. Now let's look at the choices. 2, enough, would rather, and would prefer. Now 2 and enough, we use them with adjectives. Now if you look at the space, after space we have the verb stay, so that we can't use 2 and enough. Now we have C and D, would rather and would prefer. We have studied that after would rather we use base form, and after would prefer we use 2 plus base form, so that in this sentence we use would rather. My friend likes camping on the weekend, but I would rather stay at home. We can't say would prefer stay. Number 3, I have the answers of the homework from my friend. Copy, cost, store, or afford. Now if you look at the meaning of this sentence, I think the correct answer will be copy. Number 4, the teacher lets students for not writing the lesson. Again, in this sentence, if you look at the meaning of this sentence, I think the correct answer will be blamed. The teacher blamed less students for not writing the lesson. Number 5. How does your new tablet cost? Money, much, a lot of, or lots of. Now, if we want to answer about the price, always we use how. Yes, we use how much, so that we say how much does your new tablet cost. Let's move to question number 6. Gorilla, rhino, and Arabian oryx are all animals. Now let's look at the space. After the space we have the noun animals, and we have studied that before noun we use adjectives, and the adjective in the choices is what? Is it danger, banger, dangers, or endangered? The correct answer is endangered, so that we say gorilla, rhino, and Arabian oryx are all endangered animals. What about question number 7? Have you ever been in an? Yes, I have been to the desert. Now, if we talk about desert, when we talk about desert, we talk about something like what? Spaceship, culture, adventure, or picture. The correct answer, it's clear, it is adventure. Question number 8. Ayman won't go to this shop again. The wasn't kind. Now, who works in the shop? Lifeguard, firefighter, police officer, or shop assistant? Now, if you look again to the sentence, Ayman won't go to this shop. Shop related to lifeguard, firefighter, police officer, or shop assistant? Yes, it is shop assistant. Wasn't kind. Number 8. Now we move to number 9. We use to cut ropes and open cans. What do we use to open cans? What do we use to cut ropes? What do we use to cut things? We use what? Do we use microwave or television, washing machine, or do we use a penknife? The answer is clear. It is A pen knife. A pen knife. K is silent. What about question number 10? My camera has been broken. Who? It. Now, my camera has been broken. Now, I want to ask about who broke my camera. So that I say who broke. Simple past. Number 11. Salim never seen a snake before. Now we have studied about present perfect. We have said that with singular we use has and with the plural we use have. Now Salim is singular, so that we use the verb has. Salim has never seen a snake before. Let's look at question 12. Doctors have always and help people in Hamad Hospital. Now if you look at the subject is doctors. It is plural. So that we use have. After have or has, always we use past participle. Now if you look at the choices, work, worked, works, and working, the correct answer is what? Worked, because worked is past participle of the verb work. Nader hasn't finished his homework. Again, now this sentence is about the present perfect. Now, with negative, hasn't, we use what? Ago, ever, never, or yet. Yes, we use yet. So that the sentence is Nader hasn't finished his homework yet. Let's move to question number 14. I have studied English 2010. Now this sentence is about the present perfect, and if we look at the time, it is year 2010. We can't say for, before, or ever. With years we use since. What about question 15? The elephant is the biggest animal I have seen. As we have studied, between the auxiliary verb and the main verb we use ever, never, we use just and already. We can't say before, we can't say for and since. For and since we use them with times. Now if you look at this sentence, I have what? The correct answer is I have ever seen. In question number 16, the brave police arrested the thief and sent him to the prison. Now, if you look, brave police, which choice is related to the police? Officer, doctor, nurse, or engineer? Do we say police doctor, police nurse, police engineer, or police officer? The answer is clear. It is A, police officer. Now, in question number 17, I like to eat in this restaurant. The cooks fantastic food. Now, who cooks food? Secretary, chief, builder, or reporter? He is chief. My toothache, me, I have to see. Yes, now when you have a toothache, you go to doctor, nurse, dentist, or policeman. I think we go to dentist. Let's move to question 19. How sugar do you like for your cafe? Now, if you look at the noun is sugar, and sugar is uncountable noun. With uncountable noun, always we use what for a question? We use much. So that I say, how much sugar do you like for your cafe? Question 20. I have to fuel my car. There is a very petrol in it. Very what? Very few, very many, very much, or very little? Now, petrol is uncountable noun, so that we use much or little. But in this sentence, we are going to use little, because what? If we look at the first sentence, I have to fuel my car, there is a very petrol in it. Now, so that if we look at the meaning, we have to use little. 21. I like my English teacher very much. He is for me all the time. Why do you like your English teacher? Now, if you look at the choices, we have to focus on the spelling of the words. We love our English teachers because they are helpful for us. So that I say I like my English teacher very much. He is helpful for me all the time. Hamad is interested in swimming and underwater. Now, which of these activities we can do it underwater? The answer is clear. It is scuba diving. Question 23. Hashim has to buy sugar from the shop. He has a very sugar at home. Cancel, middle, bottle. Sugar is uncountable noun, and with an uncountable noun we use little. So that I say he has very little sugar at home. What about question 24? I love walking for long distances. Next week I am going on a trip. Now, if you love walking, yes, hiking trip. 25. Omar to be a basketball player in the future. Omar what? Sleeps, plays, hopes, or tells. Now, what do we say? Omar hopes to be a basketball player in the future. Now in question 26, we are going to focus on the spelling of the word. Let's look at the sentence. My father is a person. He knows how to make profit from his project. If we look at the choices, we have to focus on the spelling of the word. Then we are going to choose the correct word, that is practical. 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 Next question. Uthman has been looking for a job. He left school. Let's focus on this sentence. It is about the present perfect continuous. In the present perfect continuous, with singular, we use has, and with the plural, we use have. Then we use been, then the verb ing. Now, if you look at the space, after the space, we have the subject plus verb, and this verb in the past. So that we use since. I say, Uthman has been looking for a job since he left school. 28. Nowadays, people used to travel more to foreign countries. With people, we don't use any article. We can't say a people or an people or the people. In this sentence, we don't use article. Let's move to question 29. I English since 2008. Now, in this sentence, if we look at the choices, study, studying, studied, or have been studying. If we look at the sentence again, we have the word since. Now, the word since followed by a time, so that we use present perfect continuous. Have or has plus been plus verb ing, so that the correct answer is I have been studying English since 2008. What about question 30? There are a lot of in old houses. What can you find in old houses? Do you find the classes, children, spiders, or cars? I think we find spiders. So that we say there are a lot of spiders in old houses. 31. Nof to go to the doctor. She has a bad flu. Now, Nof is singular. Now, after the space we have to. We can't say must to. We can't say should to. We can't say have to, because we use have with the plural noun. So that Nof is singular. We say Nof has to go to the doctor. She has a bad flu. In question 32, let's focus. on this sentence. You buy this car if you think it's expensive. We will find a cheaper one. Now, if you look at the subject is you, and you is plural. Now, if we want to negate the verb have to or has to, we can't say have to is haven't to. We can't say has to, hasn't to. This is wrong. If we want to negate the verb has to, we say doesn't have to. If we want to negate the verb have to, we say don't have to. So that when we want to negate the verb has to or have to, we said doesn't or don't have to. We can't say, we don't say hasn't to or haven't to. This is wrong. In this sentence, you is plural. So that doesn't, we use it with singular. Don't, we use it with the plural. In this sentence, we say you don't have to buy this car if you think it's expensive. We will find a cheaper one. 33. Some animals are endangered because people destroy their... Destroy what? Yes, destroy their habitat. 34. My teacher is greatly that I can pass the exam. Now, after is, we use adjective. Now, we have two adjectives here. Hopeful and hopeless. Now, if you look at the meaning of this sentence, I think the correct answer is clear. That is hopeful. In question 35, an antivirus program is a program protects computer from viruses. Now, if you look at the choices, that is relative clauses, who, when, which, where. Now, we use who with people, when with time, which with things, where with places. Now, if you look at the space before the space, we have the noun program, and the program is thing, so that we use which. We can't say who, and when, and where. We can't say where, because we use where with places, when with time, who with people. The correct answer is which. Now, let's focus on the question 36 about Mr. Rashid, you met last week, performed the operation for me. As we have said, we use who with people. Mr. Rashid is people, so that we use who. Can we use when? No, because we use when with time. We can't use which, because we use which with things. Also where, we can't use where, because we use where with the places. 37. Tamim would rather a turkey for our lunch today. We have studied about would rather and would prefer, and we have said that after would rather we use verb base form. We don't use to plus base form. So that in this sentence we say Tamim would rather cook. If you look at the next sentence in the question 38, I would prefer. Now, after would prefer, we use to plus base form. So that we say what? I would prefer to build a new hut for my family on the beach. We can't say I would prefer build. This is wrong. I can't stand Jassim anymore. He is always... Now, if you look at the meaning of the choices, I think the correct answer is clear. He is always complaining, so that I can't stand him anymore. What about question 40? Kids sleep more when they are younger. Now, if you look at the choices, I think the correct answer is tend to. Yes. Is there an extra if I call you from my mobile phone? Yes, extra charge. Ammar can't meet his friends very often because of lack of free time. Now, if you look at the meaning of this sentence, I think the correct answer is partly. So that I say Ammar can't meet his friends very often, partly because of lack of free time. What about sentence number 43? If a student fails the test, it will be due to of efforts. Now, let's look at this sentence. If you look at the meaning of this sentence, I think the correct answer will be lack. If a student fails the test, it will be due to lack of efforts. In question 44, it is, I think it's going to rain. Now, it's going to rain, so that it is what? Yes, it is cloudy. Now, let's move to the last question in this tutorial. Hassan was late and he missed his flight to Dubai. Now, Hassan was late and he missed his flight to Dubai. What do we say? Unfaithfully, unfortunately, illegally, or irregularly? Yes, I think the correct answer is unfortunately. We say unfortunately Hassan was late. He missed his flight to Dubai. Thank you for your listening. Your teachers Sam Masoud, Midhat Ghaith, Muhammad Abdulaziz, and Ibrahim Al Alul. Thank you very much, students.